regards, wise winds, and welcome to my show once more. I am Lady Leeanna, and this, of course, is Witchcraft Wicca Eclectic Spirituality, where in 1 week we will be celebrating Beltane, Mayday, whatever way you want to call it, and there's so many different names that transpire around the world for this particular holiday that comes about in the final day of April and the first day of May. And it's the celebration of fertility. It's celebration of all the new born babies coming up out of the woods or grazing in the fields. It's about the garden starting to look lush and green and heading up toward some of the actual harvesting, especially of greens, mustard greens and things like that. You can start seeing some of that being harvested at this time. But I like to celebrate this particular holiday by setting up an altar and putting together a basket the way I do for the 4 major Sabbats that we celebrate. I reflect, I imagine, I manifest all the beautiful things that are going on right now around the world. The honeybees swarming around the beautiful orange or yellow flowers, the birds singing and setting up on my mulberry trees that I planted 7 years ago behind my house that are now just so full of berries, and I planted those trees knowing that it would bring animal life to my land. And so I partake of those fruits. I'll stand under my trees and I'll just graze for a long time. I'll just sit there and I'll pluck the berries off and I'll eat them just right off the tree like that. That's what we're celebrating right now. That's what we're doing. And in my circle, which is just a general giving thank you and manifesting and asking for a beautiful harvest throughout the year for everybody, whether it's money, for people that are not farmers or ranchers, for prosperity for farmers and ranchers likewise, and all of that, for everything to be more fruitful, for the ending of wars so that everybody can come back together and be very giving and helpful to each other around the world. That's what I will be giving thanks and praise for. Prayer for people to come back together, for this world to reconsolidate with each other and become one, and things like that. And I think that there's no better time to do that than right now. Also, I will be putting together a fruit bowl. This is the time I like to put together a fruit bowl for my kitchen table. I like to put together the fruit basket that goes out, that connects to my fruit bowl that'll be here on my table. And I will not only be given libation in my circle that I'm doing all of this, but at the end I will be going to my city park and placing these fruits and vegetables around at the base of dying trees or dead trees or heavily diseased trees that need help or replacement or replenishment. I'll place all of these fruits and vegetables at the base of tree, along with a lot of prayer for that living entity that is now giving way to death and transpiring into another aspect of life. And so that's what I'll be doing with that. But I also like to put together a money bowl. This is a holiday about fertility, by the way. And I don't do this in my circle where I'm giving thanks and prayer, for the goddess, for the green man. I don't put together things that are beneficial to me in that circle, because to me it's a giving thanks. It's a praying for the big of it all. It's more about the community. It's more about the world and bigger things than just myself. And the goddess and strength for the goddess so that she can be giving to the earth in the way that she needs to be, as big as it is, etc. It's not about me, it's about the larger whole of everyone and everything on this earth to me. And so that's what I focus on. Now, in a smaller circle ritual that I'll do for myself around the same time, but not in the same circle, I will put together a money bowl. Now, right now, what I've got left over from my most recent thing that I've done is my money bowl that I have here, where I have a pine cone that signifies the past, the dying of the past. And pine cones are very fruitful when they're fresh, and they give their seed when they're in their dying phase. And so I have, let's see, I'll take it apart for you, but only because I am getting ready to do another one this week. I have on the base what is originally a candle holder. And I can put a candle in there at various times, but I don't have to. I can do it in different ways. At this point, for the base, I have a hematite magnet, which I have right here. It's a hematite pyramid. That I have in the center at the base. I have a $20 bill. And I have a $2 bill. And in the Hispanic beliefs, the $2 bill holds a lot of power to it. And it's done right by me for 21 years in my business. I have one on my wall in my business license picture frame. And so, and I might display a picture of that here on the film. I don't know. See if I could blur out the address here or whatever. But, I mean, I'm in business anyway. I just don't like all of the scam artists and con artists that are trying to, you know, take advantage of people, especially on social media. And I have a silver dollar in here. And so that's the money base that I've got in my money bowl. And then I have several different stones. One is red jasper. The other ones are jasper. You've got jade in there. You've got green fluorite. And so forth. And then I've got a seashell that catches this, and I like to put it like toward the front of it because it acts as a cup for catching money that comes through, all that is being drawn in. And then I have my blessed pine cone, which is a sign of fertility, but also it has released its seed, which notes something coming to fruition or maturing to a place to where it's being fruitful. And then I have a bunch of different various stones and seashells, which is kind of like, it was a blessed gift given from a client of mine very recently that was from her heart. She just felt very touched to give this to me. And it has little miniature seashells in it and various stones that are all natural from riverbed and stuff like that, which talks about the flowing streams of water, in this case money flowing through and coming into being, as well as the idea of gift and giving from other people to me for my business and my success. And so I place that all in here, and that is what my money bowl consists of in the now. Now generally I like to put some different various herbs and stuff in here, but I did anoint the money that is in here and some of the other stuff likewise, So in a way, those herbs are in here, but through liquid oil form. However, I do generally like a little sachet of a money drawing pouch of herbs, and to set it in there likewise. I did other things instead, and my money pouch this time was a green doll that I put together that is money drawing, as well as a green money candle that I did. So I did other things with this likewise. Maybe some of that will give you guys ideas in doing your things. But basically, that's what I did on, like, I believe it was Imok that I did that. But it's all about money and fertility in the beginning of the year, and that's the first 3 major holidays. Imok, Ostora, and Beltane. That's what these holidays are really about, is kicking off the year with fertility, fruition, whether it's money because you're not in farming or gardening or whatever, your fertility would be money, and so your jobs are important in this cause, and so you would do stuff like this in connection, like my money bowl here, in connection with your jobs and money flowing through and freely to you. If you are a farmer or a rancher, you would do stuff like they did in the oldest days, and that might be marching your cattle between 2 bonfires to cleanse them of any pestilences, and also, you know, to cleanse your farm in general. So there is that. Now also, people like to take cauldrons such as this, such as my cauldron, a little cauldron. I have a much bigger one though over here. This is pulley, whatever it is, you know, and so I wouldn't do it in this one. But you might take a cauldron if it's safe to do so, if it's a proper material. Mine is cast iron over there, and it is a 12-inch by 10-inch cauldron, and so I would use that, and I would put together a little fire in it on my porch, not inside my house, and I would do the 9 wood bonfire, which is little parts of each of the 9 holy woods, excluding elder, because that's a no-no, it's a taboo, and it is said that burning elder within your 9 wood bonfire would bring bad luck. You would use stuff like ash and oak and willow. I mean, I can sit here and name them all for you, but they're easily enough found online. And I would do the little burning of blocks of wood from each of these trees in my little cauldron. Not in this one, by the way. This is not metal. This is something that would probably melt. It's not even ceramic. So you would want to use something metal for sure, and you would want to do it outside, otherwise you risk choking yourself out. Also, I like to take a dowel about the size of a pencil around, or maybe even a little bit larger than that, and quite a bit, about 18 inches. And I like to take ribbons of red, of yellow, of blue, and green, and I like to braid them around that dowel. I keep wanting to say pencil. I guess it would resemble that to a degree, and I guess that's why that kind of pops out in my head, you know. But I would plant this dowel in a good deal of dirt, and I would have that on my celebrational altar that I'm giving thanks at, and I will kind of weave those around the pencil in whatever way I see fit at that particular time, while the dowel is sticking in a good deal of dirt, like in a flower pot or whatnot. I may even have little plants all around inside that flower pot, just little bitty ones. And like my mustard greens that I just planted, I might take 4 of the seedlings that I've got out there and plant them around in the little bit of dirt in the flower pot, stick my dowel in the center, and kind of thread those ribbons around that dowel, thanking the higher power that I've already received it. Even if you haven't, you want to act like you have, and you want to think like you have, because thinking positive breeds positive and then brings positive. And so that's what you want to do. That's what you want to be and how you want to do things. Positive, light, airy, giving thanks for what you've already achieved if you haven't achieved it yet, for what will be acquired. And then, you know, assemble that fruit basket and then that fruit bowl that'll go on your table. Connect them in together. Like, for one thing, you might take a stone that is very parallel with the opposite stone. A stone for each one of maybe onyx or tourmaline, selenite, things that draw or charge, and make the stones siblings, and put one in each of these baskets and bowls, you know, starting it off at the very bottom, and then assemble them, you know, each like a fruit of one sort in each that is very much parallel, another fruit of each. And you want to anoint at least one of these fruits with an empowering oil. You know, whatever fruits you choose, but I would do a yellow, an orange, a green, a purple, and did I say yellow already? A red. Anyway, so you want to, you know, do parallel baskets and bowls. One is for your kitchen table, and one goes out to the yard or the park or whatever, and you're going to give it at the base of various trees that might need the nourishment, or because they're already dead, they might need a replacement, and from their own bearing shall a new tree arise, etc., with those thoughts in mind. Any fruit that you have taken as a libation with the god or the goddess or the god and goddess within that circular ret where you're taking all of this in, whether you take, draw or cast a circle at all or not, but at your altar. Any fruits that you partake of with the gods and goddesses while you're assembling your fruit basket or bowl together, any pits or seeds, any rinds or whatever, you want to put that also in that basket that goes out to the outdoors, or to your libation dish. This is actually my libation dish for my altar at all my rets. This is my libation dish. That's also why I won't burn things in it likewise. But, you know, any leftovers of what you take with the gods and goddesses, you want to put in your libation dish or in your fruit basket that you'll take out to the park. And generally, I put any leftover stuff in my libation dish, which is where I also take libation of my liquids. I'll drink to the god and goddess, whether it's wine or grape juice or coffee or tea or whatever I'm doing, and I will pour some to the god and goddess in a cup, at which, at the end of the altar ritual, I will pour the gods and goddesses into my libation dish that later goes outside. You can also put your pits and seeds and rinds inside that libation dish to go outdoors likewise. And that's simply what I would do with it all. At the end of my ritual, I may take that dowel that I've left, you know, that I've created. I'll generally let those little plants that I put around the base of it come up and thrive, you know, around that dowel. By the way, use ribbons that are biodegradable easily enough. Use the crepe paper streamers You know, possibly something like that that will go back to the earth easily enough, to the plants and whatnot that you'll let grow up. And it could be whatever kind of plant you want it to be. So those are ideas that I have here. Right now I'm doing a lot of cleansing leading up to Beltane or Beltane. I am doing a lot of cleansing of my building, my place here. After all, I do service my clients here likewise, and so I have a lot of various energy that comes through here, some of it not so good, and I just want to keep it clean, especially a week before any major holiday, any holiday at all, any of the 8 Sabbats. I like to keep it clean in here, and so I will be doing a lot of that leading up to the holiday, and then on the day of or the day before I will put together my altar and I will celebrate it by doing all of the different things that I just talked about with you here. Another thing that I like to do, and I haven't actually heard anybody else on their videos name this, but we are of the new day, and sometimes we are just stuck in and can't get out, especially if it's nighttime in a small hick town where even in Houston they don't have a lot of festivals or anything like that going on, sadly enough. Being the 4th largest city in the United States, it's unfreaking believable, but nothing goes on. The thing is, though, is what I like to do, since I can't get out a lot of times, and at night, I will, believe it or not, turn on my YouTube and I will catch live streams of holidays that are going on around the world for that holiday and celebrate with them while I'm drinking a glass of wine, giving libation to the gods and goddesses while I'm watching this video of everybody else celebrating, and be at one with them and just soak up all of that energy. And you can draw that shit in from that TV. You really can. And I haven't heard anybody else talking about this, but a lot of people don't talk about technology when they're talking about paganism. And, well, I mean, though I'm not a techno witch, I am a person of today. Although I'm the age that I am, 16, I like to be understanding of what we have around us in the here and the now anyway. And let's face it, we are no longer in the green lush valleys of nothing but trees where it's 2 miles away from the next house. We're not living there anymore. We are in a world where we're living shoulder to shoulder, even in our own houses. Our houses are being built a foot away from each other anymore. And, well, not really, but close enough. We are shoulder to shoulder with everybody else here, and a lot of times we are stuck in, and the craziness of the world that's going on around us, who could blame us? So we take advantage of what we can do with the world that is around us, you know. In the oldest days, they might have changed their pathway by going to a dusty trail that linked in or crossed another dusty trail. These days, we go to a 4-way stop in our little town, or a red light in our biggest city where 2 streets cross, or a railroad track where it crosses with a highway. You know, but that is the reality of what it is to be pagan today. You know, but yes, I like to draw in and soak in the energy of people that are partying online in Britain and Scotland and all of these other major places where things are going on, because it's just not going on here, unfortunately. I wish I owned 10 acres of property right near the city where it would be central to everyone, and I would start that shit. I would so start that shit, right? But anyway, this is the stuff that I like to do, and hopefully this will have been of a help to you. I really strive to be. I hope you've gotten out of this video what I really wanted you to. Happy Beltane, everybody. I know that by the time I get this edited, there will probably only be a few days. I will try to get this out like ASAP, alright? You take care of yourself. I love you guys. Blessed Beltane. Bye-bye.